from station WDWL TV. It's broadcasting from Studio A, located on Grumpy Old Man Road. It's the Grumpy Old Man, me, and the Grumpy Vulture Show. Take your bow. Okay, look at the camera. Both eyes. Okay. Well, friends, I'll tell you what. If cell phones weren't so goddamn expensive, I'd have broken mine today. Jesus Christ. I can't wait for the election to be over. Oh my God, the goddamn election phone calls. Jesus Christ. And you know sooner, hang up with one and you get another one. And it's the same candidate. I says to the girl, I just hung up on you, didn't I? Well, no, I didn't call you. Well, someone from your office. Yeah. But before I get into that, I gotta show you something. I've showed you this before, and I keep fucking misplacing it. I have the first pocket knife my grandfather ever gave me. Right here. I was 8 years old. And I'll tell you what, I'll show you how tiny this thing is. Look at it. The size of that blade. Look, yeah, here's my pinky finger. Look, the size of that blade goes to the first joint. My grandmother threw such a shit fit over my grandfather giving me this for my birthday. Look at the size of it. Of course, for an 8-year-old, that was a pretty big knife. But yeah, he always carried a pocket knife. And he told me, you're always going to carry a pocket knife. You never know when you might need one. And I have hung on to this thing ever since. Yeah, I got this when I was 8 years old. Grandma yelled at him and said, "You're going to turn him into a hoodlum." To this day, the knife never turned me into a hoodlum. Maybe it turned me into a crab-ass son of a bitch old man, but yeah, I was going to go out and commit crime. Like pull this on an 18-year-old, for his lunch money. Oh, yeah. He snuck it to me. And then he wasn't thinking, because Grandma says to him, Didn't you get the boy anything for his birthday? He's your favorite grandson. I was the only grandson. And he goes, show Grandma what I got you. And as I pull it out of my pocket, I could see him go, oh, no. And oh, yeah, she tore him a new ass. You're going to turn him into a hoodlum. Next thing you know, we'll be bailing him out of jail. He'll be in knife fights at school. I was never in a knife fight at school. Matter of fact, I never even let anyone know I had it in my pocket at school. Because kids would tattle. Oh, you'll never guess what he's got in his pocket. He's got a big, huge knife. Yeah. A big, huge knife. Not exactly the Crocodile Dundee knife, but yeah, a little tiny thing. I still have it. All these years. I was 8 years old when he gave me that knife. Cherished memory. And it amazes me, all this time, I never lost the son of a bitch. I've lost more shit. I come across it again today. I had it in the back of the drawer for safekeeping. Now I'm going to put it somewhere else for safekeeping. I also, I'll bring it out, and there's a neat story behind this silver dollar. That was my grandfather's. I'll bring it out and I'll tell you the story. Because it's really an amazing story behind it. I know where that's at. I keep that one safe in the corner of my top dresser drawer. I check it constantly because that is even more of a memento than that pocket knife. I don't have a lot of mementos of Grandpa. But the silver dollar was one of his most cherished items. And he kind of snuck it to me because he didn't want anyone to know I had it. Because there were a few people that wanted it. Mainly because of the age, you know. They were going to take it to a coin dealer and sell it. Matter of fact, I should get it appraised and see what it's worth. Although I don't think you can get insurance on one antique silver dollar coin, but I just like to know what it's worth. Watch the guy tell me, $1.25. I know it's worth more than that. It's a silver dollar. Now, back to the stupid ass phone calls. You know, it's bad enough you can't watch TV because they're running the election commercials in triplicate. And for the same goddamn candidate, oh, gee, they run one. Then they run a second one. Then they run a third one. I'm like, you know, even if I was going to vote for you, now you piss me off. Triplicate. You know, it'd be different if you had him and then a soup commercial and then him. But no, it's him, him, him. And the money that his campaign has to spend on these commercials. What a waste. That money could go better somewhere else. One commercial's enough. Not to mention, every day, hands full of fucking shit in the mail. Oh, jeez. I open the mailbox. I look through it. I put all the shit in this hand and the important stuff in this hand. Then as I turn around, all this shit goes in the wastebasket. You know, and then when you go to vote, there's 760,000 people standing in front of the voting area. Here, vote for so-and-so. Vote for, they're handing out leaflets. If you don't know who you're going to fucking vote for, by the time you get to the voting booth, give up. If you're that undecided that as you walk in the door of the voting area, you don't know who you're going to vote for, you shouldn't be voting, because it's going to be a coin toss. Oh, it just irritates the shit out of me. You're walking up and they're sticking the shit in your face. That's why I don't go and vote. I do it by mail. Nobody's sticking nothing in my face. Vote for so-and-so. No. I got my ballot on Friday. So this week, I'm going to go through it a little bit at a time. I never do it all in one day. I take my time. And if I'm kind of on the, on the teeter-totter about a candidate, I'll go online and I'll read up on him. And then I'll read up on his opponent. And then I'll put that one aside until I'm 100% made up in my mind. I'm going to vote for this one or that one. But all these assholes that stand around on election day and stuff the shit in your face, they just piss me off. And I'm sure they piss everybody else off. So I decided I vote by mail now. Plus, I don't have to fight for a parking space. 99.9% of the time in Cleveland, it rains on election day. So I don't get wet. I don't get cold. My mail carrier gets wet and cold. When I hear, here's my ballot. Okay, she puts it in the bag. Have a nice day. I will now that you're the one that's wet and cold carrying my ballot. Yeah, I decided, rather than somebody aggravate the piss out of me and get my blood pressure cranking, I just go into the Board of Elections, and send me a ballot. Came the other day. And I'll sit here nice and warm and dry in the studio, and I'll vote. Although what really irritates the shit out of me is I have to put 2 stamps to mail it back. You want me to vote? Put return postage on the envelope, you assholes. Yeah, the ballot is so thick for this election, it takes 2 stamps to mail it back. I found that out from a friend of mine who got it returned for lack of enough postage. Oh, was she pissed. Because, they canceled the stamp. So it took her 3 stamps Oh, she called me. She goes, "Oh, you won't believe this." I said, "I'll believe anything today." I mailed my ballot. I said, "Well, good for you." No, it came back the next day. I said, "Come back? Why?" Insufficient postage. Now I wasted a stamp. You would think if they're returning it to, and you got to put another stamp on it, why cancel the first one? Gee, you greedy bastards. Bad enough it's almost costing you $1 to mail a letter now. The hell is it, 68 cents, something like that? I'll find out when I go to buy stamps. Online. Best thing they ever did. I get low on stamps. USPS.com. Buy my stamps. Pay for them online. My letter carrier comes with, "Here's your stamps, Mr. Grumpy." Thank you. I don't even have to leave the house, go to the post office. I love it. Order my stamps online. Then get that sticker shock when you find out, oh, they went up again. Although I'll tell you, I have a friend. Everybody laughed at her. But when the forever stamps first came out, every month she bought a roll of 100. I think she bought 4 rolls. So she had 400 stamps. And this was when the forever stamps first came. Oh, were they 24 cents, something like that? She's laughing all the way to the post office now because they're basically losing money on her postage because it's a forever stamp. So she bought them when they were like 18, 20 cents, 24, whatever they were. Now we're paying 68 cents or something like that. Yeah. She always waves them at me when she goes to the post office. "I'm cheating the post office." I say, "Yeah, good for you." But see, nobody really thought that way. I know I didn't. I was like, I said to her, "Why are you buying so damn many stamps?" She goes, "You wait. You'll find out." Yeah. Everybody laughed at her. Now she's laughing at us. But yeah, I just go on the postal website, and I always buy commemoratives. Mainly because I feel I get my money's worth because they're always larger stamps. I'm like, well, you had to use extra paper and glue. I'm getting my money's worth out of this big stamp. I don't care what they're commemorating. If it's a big stamp, I buy a sheet. Get my money's worth. A big stamp versus a little one. I know. Everybody's like, looking at me going, "Oh, Grumpy, you're an asshole." Well, I knew that. Tell me something different. I feel I'm getting my money's worth with a bigger stamp. You got your idiosyncrasies, I got mine. I like big stamps. I wish they'd come out with one about that big, Really get my money's worth. But yeah, when it comes time for stamps, I go into the commemorative section. I go through them and I'm like, oh, I like those. One day my buddy's wife says, well, what's so fancy about them? They're big. She goes, well, what are they commemorating? I said, I don't know. They're big. Well, what's that got to do with buying stamps? I said, I get my money's worth. She was like, oh, Jesus. You're losing it. I've been losing it for years. I just like big stamps. It's like, for years, I was a notary. I finally let the commission expire. In a way, I regret it, but in a way, I don't. Because I used to have that neat Notary Public sign hanging out front. Until some asshole came over at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, my buddy's selling me his car. Yeah? Well, I need the title notarized. I said, at 1 o'clock in the morning? Are you fucking nuts? Well, you're the only notary I know that is convenient. So I charged him triple to notarize the fucking title. There's convenience for you, pal. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, I was still watching TV. Had I been in bed, I'd have charged him quintuple, quadruple, octuple, or whatever. Needed a title notarized at 1 in the morning. The next day, down came the sign. But it used to be neat. We had these neat seals. And it would literally emboss the paper. And mine was always nice and crisp. You could read that. Notary Public. Now it's a rubber stamp. I don't know what the cost is now. I was thinking about it and I was like, oh no, I don't need the bullshit again. But yeah, I was a notary for years. Made some good money. Especially for people that needed titles notarized at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I worked for a couple of dealers for a while. Made some good money. Matter of fact, I think I paid for everything because you had to pay for the fucking test. And you had to buy the seal, and there was something else you had to buy. I think in the first 2 months I made my money back. But you'd always get the idiots, Saturday night, Sunday night, when you couldn't get a notary. But that 1 o'clock in the morning, I look out the door. Yeah? He's waving a title. My buddy's selling me his car. Well, good for you. You get a good deal? Yeah. Okay. I went to shut the door. He goes, wait. I need this title notarized. Looked at my watch. I said, do you know what time it is? He was like, no. I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Then he had the nerve to say, oh, gee, after I get this title notarized, we can go to the bar. Oh, I wanted to hit him with a bar. That was back in the day. When it came time to renew it, I was like, no, that's it. I don't need the bullshit anymore. Plus, I wasn't working for the two dealers anymore anyway. And I was working for the county at the time. Wouldn't have been nothing to get it renewed. All I had to do was go to the notary office and go and sign up again and hand him a check. Do I get my commission? Yes, here's my check. I mainly, it was, they suggested when I was working for the court system, they suggested all the employees become notaries. I don't think it was so much, the legality. I think it was ways of making money off the fucking employees. Yeah, I'll never forget my boss was, you should seriously think about becoming a notary. Why? Well, you are working for the court system. Yeah. And? Well, you might have to notarize something one day. Yeah. I can go to the bank if I need something notarized. And if somebody needs something notarized, they can go to their bank. Well, you shouldn't be thinking that way. You are a county official. Oh, talk about shaming you into becoming a notary public. It was just so they could get your money. I can't remember how much it was back then. Of course, today, it's like nothing what it was back then. Maybe it was like $18, $20. But we're talking 1970. That was big money in 1970. $20, then you had to pay like $25 for the seal, and it was an expensive investment. But I made my money back, so I can't complain. I got the seal around here somewhere. I think it's in my dresser. I don't know why I kept it. Memento. Expensive memento. From back when I originally bought it. Yeah, I was Mr. Big Legal back then. Although they made you, like a badge of honor. You are now a notary public. Well, I run for office now too. But it did look kind of neat with the sign hanging under my mailbox. Grumpy old man, notary public. Unless you show up at 1 in the morning. Ugh. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Doorbell rings. Ding, ding. Who the hell is... yeah? My buddy's selling me his car. Good for you. Thanks for telling me at 1 o'clock in the morning. Wait. I needed this notarized. You know what time it is? No? Take a guess. 10, 11? Not even close, asshole. It's 1 o'clock. Then he turned to his buddy. Well, we can hit the bar before it closes. I should have kept them there until 2 o'clock. Printed my name one letter at a time. Let's see, what's the next letter in my name? After that, I was like, oh, that's it. Next morning, sign come down. Then the commission expired like 2 months later or something, so it didn't bother me that much. But had I been in bed, I'd have answered the door with a 12 gauge. Yeah? Sorry, you got the wrong house. Yeah. Open the door and go, you better be delivering pizza, pal, and it better be free. And I think people are screwy today. Wow. That was back in the 70s. Although you can't trust anybody today. Back in the 70s, it was like, yeah, come on in the kitchen, sit down, I'll get my notary stuff. Not today. You never know if somebody's scoping out your house to break in. It's sad you can't trust anybody today. I mean, even back in the 70s, a lot of my neighbors, we didn't even lock our doors. I know my parents didn't even have a key for our house. I think the first week they were in the house, they broke the fucking skeleton key. Nobody knew. Matter of fact, it was hilarious. My mother had the broken key. It was just a stalk because the end of it was broken off. She'd leave the house, close the door, and rattle it like she was locking the door, clanking it in the lock hole. So everybody thought she was locking the door. But also everybody in the neighborhood knew we couldn't lock the doors. And never even had a key for the front door, let alone broken one. Nope. We had one of them chains. Like that was really going to hold something. That was my job. We'd be leaving the house, my mother, you chain the front door? Well, with that little dinky, go chain the front door. There you go. All you had to do was lean on it hard, you'd have broke the chain, but oh yeah, that was a big safety thing. Since we can't lock the front door, put the little chain on it. Okay. I feel safe now. No one's going to break in this house. That little itty-bitty tiny chain is going to keep us safe. Yeah. Now you got 2 main locks and 4 deadbolts and 3 different alarm systems and about 27 security cameras around your house. I have never in my life seen as many security system signs as I have today. Drive up and down the street. Like every other house has one. This security, that security. Although, like my neighbor said one day, how do we know across the street they actually have a real security system? Might have just bought the sign. I said, well, Go over there and try to break in. I'll stand back here and see if I hear an alarm go off. And then the one neighbor, oh, Jesus. He has this siren mounted up on the peak of his garage. One night his goddamn alarm went off. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whole neighborhood heard for 47 blocks. Like, God, shut that son of a bitch off already. If somebody is breaking in and they want to get in bad enough, that noisy thing ain't going to stop them. Because with Cleveland's police force being down by about 40%, they aren't responding to that alarm like you're a bank. No. As a matter of fact, they'll probably come out and cite you for noise after 10 o'clock. Yeah, he's got a siren up in the peak of his garage. Thing went off like 11:30 one night. I'm laying in bed and all of a sudden I thought maybe I was sleeping inside of a submarine. Dive, dive. Then the next morning, I think every neighbor was across the street with a pitchfork. If you've got an alarm system, the object is, be it a silent alarm, because that way they're going to come in. Now, hopefully you're not home. But it's a good chance that they're going to get caught inside your house and leave in handcuffs. But with a big whoop, 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 shit, they're going to take off. You'll never see who it is. Police will be there going, well, did you actually see who was breaking in? Well, no. No description? Well, I saw the bottom of his shoes as he was running up the street. He's got white soles. Okay, thank you. All points broadcast. Be on the lookout for someone wearing shoes with white soles. Yeah, big ass siren. I'd like to sneak over with a ladder and cut the wires. Although since that day, it's never gone off again. Maybe he cut the wires. But yeah, it's scary that people have to resort to paying a security company and then have, 47 deadbolts on every door. Growing up, shit. People not only didn't lock their doors, they didn't shut their windows. Summertime, every window in the house would be open. Somebody wanted to get in, punch a screen out. Only rich people had alarms when I was growing up. The ones that drove, Cadillacs, Lincolns, big Packards. That's how you knew it was rent week. When you'd see the big Packard, the big black Packard driving through the neighborhood. They're like, uh-oh, there's Mr. Landlord coming to get the rent. That first week of every month, you knew who was renting a house. be either big ass black Lincoln, black Cadillac, black Packard. Those were the three big buck cars in the day. And they were always shiny jet black. So it was one of two things. Either it was Mr. Landlord coming for the rent, or the undertaker was coming to visit. But yeah, growing up, doors unlocked, garage doors open. Shit, my father used to leave the goddamn keys in his car. He'd take them out of the ignition, throw them on the floor. It's like, least you could do is put them under the mat. But nope. Just take them out of the ignition, throw them on the floor. He said that way he knew where his car keys were every morning when he was going to work. Now, cars got key fobs. They don't even have keys. Key fobs, alarm systems. I'm surprised they don't have tasers mounted to them. Go to break in the door and get hit with 50,000 volts. But you know, they've overdone it with the alarms. Because, you know, back in like the beginning of the 80s, people started buying alarm systems. And they, you know, factories started putting them in cars. Well, in the beginning, if an alarm went off, you immediately like, whose car is that? Now, it's so past, an alarm goes off, people are like, they don't even look. Because you got desensitized to the damn things. I know the other day in the shopping center, if the headlights wouldn't have been flashing, I wouldn't even have known what car it was. Nobody paid attention. Like, alarm system going off. Oh well. But in the beginning, when an alarm system went off, people are like, oh, whose car is that? Somebody in Fred's car? Now it's an annoyance. Oh, somebody's goddamn alarm's going off. And then the people that really get me. You know, when you get out of your car, hit your clicker. No. They're at the front of the store. Their car is about 2,000 feet away, and they're like this. You're out of range, idiot. Yeah, they're like, Then they got to run halfway back in the parking lot. You get out of the car. If you're so worried about setting the alarm, do it right there. Before you put the keys in your pocket. Chink. No. Or it's like, oh, my car has an alarm. Watch me set it. And the headlight's flashing. That's my car back there. Yeah. How stupid. You know how dumb you look? Standing there with your arm in the air. Oh, my car has an alarm. Don't make no difference. Especially if you're driving a Kia. the most stolen vehicles in America, Kias. Because you can actually get an app for your cell phone to unlock and start a Kia. Because their anti-theft software is so cheap. Yeah, look at the statistics. The most stolen car in America, Kia. Just get the app for your cell phone, go in a parking lot, and you got yourself a Kia. Not that some chop shop wants it. Kids steal them just for fun. There was a group of kids last year. They were stealing Kias. They would drive about 3 blocks away, leave the car, steal another Kia, go 3 blocks. That's all they did. They went 3 blocks, stole another one. 3 blocks, stole another one. Just for the fun of it. Like, oh, look at us. We stole 47 Kias today. Yeah, they finally caught him. And they admitted it. We only went a couple of blocks. We just did it for the fun of stealing the car. Then they admitted they stole like 47 goddamn cars. But they just go a couple of blocks, and then pull out their cell phones, unlock and start another one, leave that one, drive off in another one. Now, I don't know if the 2024s finally have different software, but yeah, back a couple of years ago, maybe 5 years ago, yeah, they had the cheapest software, and somebody hacked it. They made an app, and you could get the app for your cell phone. I think the app was steal a Kia or something. It was, the guy didn't really try to hide it. Oh, out in California? Oh, they drove the cops crazy, the kids out there. They were stealing Kias left and right. It goes to show you how safe your car is when somebody can buy an app to steal a Kia. That's why they shouldn't have done away with manual transmissions. Because kids today can't drive a stick. I remember one day, I left my shit box running in the gas station. I go in to pay for my gas. There was a police officer getting himself a slushie. He walked out, come back in, he goes, "Who owns that white Nissan out there? You know it's running? You want someone to steal it?" First of all, I laughed because it's a shit box. Second of all, I says to the officer, "I got the best anti-theft device on earth." He said, "What's that?" I said, "It's a manual transmission. How many of these kids around here today can drive one?" And I said, if I think there's a possibility of somebody stealing it, I can remove my steering wheel. Yeah, I've got like 5 steering wheels for the car. I got a yellow one that looks like carbon fiber in yellow. I got a wood grain one, and yeah, I have a lock. Push the button, turn the collar, and my steering wheel comes right off. One day I walked in the gas station with it. Cop says to me, he says, "Why are you carrying a steering wheel?" I said, "Well, I left my truck running out there. It's cold. I wanted to warm up." He said, "Your steering wheel comes off?" "There it is." "How do you drive it?" Put the steering wheel on, turn the lock, nice and tight. Yeah, I got 5 different steering wheels for my shitbox. Between the taillights, the new headlights, and the 5 steering wheels, they're worth more than the whole truck. Yeah. I can switch out steering wheels. I even have a neat little racing one. It's about this big. It's kind of a rectangular. I bought it for a joke, and it is. It's a pain in the ass to drive the truck with that little. I feel like I'm driving one of them little fire chief's cars when I was 5 years old. I only put that one on every now and then. But yeah, I got a collar that unlocks. I can pop my steering wheel right off. Carry it in with me. Nobody can steal my truck. Dual security. Removable steering wheel and manual transmission. Best anti-theft device on earth. I wanted to do my RAV4 the same way, but no. Toyota's got a different system. You can't swap out the steering wheel. I figured it'd be kind of neat to interchange them between the cars back and forth. But no, couldn't get one for the RAV. So it's got the factory steering wheel. No big deal. It's a steering wheel. Not like it does anything special. I know you're all sitting there going, then why do you have 5 steering wheels for your shitbox? Because I thought having a detachable steering wheel was neat. Didn't cost me that much anyway. Bought the steering wheels off eBay, cheap. And the locking collar was 50% off. I think I paid like $15 for it. So it didn't cost me that much. And I can be an asshole and swap out my steering wheels. And walk in gas stations carrying them. I'd like to walk in one day and go, somebody lose this? They'd be looking going, that's a steering wheel. Yeah. Found it out in the parking lot. Anybody got a non-drivable car right now that are looking for this? Do I get a reward? It is kind of cool, though. The looks that you get. You walk in and they're like, guy's carrying a steering wheel. Yeah. But as many times as I've done it, the police officer was the only one that ever asked me why I was carrying a steering wheel. People just give you that look like, look at that asshole carrying a steering wheel. He must have an imaginary car. Yeah, I'd like to do that one day. Walk down the street, act like I'm driving, and be like, oh man, Grumpy really lost his fucking marbles today. Look at he thinks he's driving. Mount a horn on my head, you know. Turn signals on my shoulders. Brake light on my ass. Don't laugh, people. I'm liable to do it. You know me. Do all that. Have a horn on my head, turn signals, brake light on my ass, and send a picture to Sylvia. This is what you're dealing with. She'd be like, oh my God. I've been thinking of composing another letter since she threatened me. You're not going to get your warranty now. Yeah? You want me to call Carl? Give me my warranty. I'm not taking the TV out of the box until I sell it. Plain and simple. Then before the guy, whoever buys it takes it, we'll take it out of the box and check it. I'll take a picture of the frickin' serial number on the back of the TV, and then I'll send it to her. But I'm not opening that box. No need to. I got my Magda box. Made in Mexico. With a beautiful picture. In a way, I'm kind of tempted to go to Walmart. Oh, not really, but just to see what that Hisense actually looks like. See what the picture's like. Not that I would give up my Samsung, but just to see if it's better than the old RCA or the same. Gotta be the same. These TVs gotta be made in the same factory. They just slap a different name on them, that's all. Change the remote a little bit. Damn right well, there's not like 57 TV plants in China. They're all making them in the same damn place. That's like years ago. Everybody was like, oh, I'm going to buy a Maytag washer. Maytag and Kenmore were made on the same assembly line. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want that Kenmore. That's a cheap. They made like 4 different washers on the same assembly line. So, it was going on back then. But back then it was quality. Not today. They just throw all that shit together and keep their fingers crossed that when someone takes it out of the box, it's going to work. They don't care. They got their money. But don't work? Oh, well. But I guarantee they're all made in the same goddamn place. That's why I wanted the Samsung. Made in Mexico, American-owned plant, supervised by Americans with quality control checks. China, they probably, only thing they quality control check is the box. TV gonna fit in there okay? Oh, you go. Okay. Did anybody bother to test the TV? I doubt if they even plug them in to check them. Just run that shit down the line, put it in a box, ship it to America. Yeah, it's like where the iPhones and iPads are made. Foxconn. People aren't even allowed to leave the plant. They live there. Yeah, look it up. They have housing, they have grocery stores, movie theaters, malls in the plant. You can't even leave the plant. You know, like in America, you leave the plant, you drive home. No, they live in the plant. So you leave your job, and you basically, you walk a couple 100 feet, and you're at your house. Kind of tough to call in sick for work. Your boss just walks a couple 100 feet, knocks on your door. Hey, why aren't you at work? You're not sick. Get up. Yeah. It's a gigantic factory. Complex. Not a factory. Like I say, they got shopping malls, movie theaters, housing, all inside this big giant complex. Steve Jobs let it slip one day. He was giving a talk somewhere. Some guy was doing an interview. He said, "Is it true that Foxconn is a big complex? People actually live there, shop there?" He said, "Well, I believe so." He knew. Yeah, it's pretty sad when you can't leave work. You're sitting in your living room looking out the window, and 200 feet away is your job. Now, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, it's a big, giant complex. You live there. You shop there. You recreate there. Very rarely do you get outside in the real world if you work at Foxconn. Look it up. Gargle it. Don't believe me. Don't take my word for it. Gargle it. Foxconn. I think it's Foxxconn, if I'm not mistaken. Gargle it. It's a gigantic complex. You don't even need a car. Everything's there. Need groceries? Down that aisle. Need to get a haircut? Down that aisle. You never leave. Got to be a hell of a way to live. Knowing that your job is just a golf cart ride down an aisle. And I'm sure they pay real well. But yes, it's everything. Grocery stores, you name it. Inside the complex. Once you go in, you're there for good. You got gargle it. Don't believe me. I'd mentioned something about the plant, but I don't want to get banned by YouTube. But there was a reason it got brought up during the interview. And Steve, you could tell he was getting pissed off, actually had to admit to what the guy was asking him. Gargle it. Foxconn. Biggest complex in China. Once you go in, you don't go out. I wonder if they have armed guards. You ain't getting out of here, pal. Get back in there. Yeah. Steve wasn't too happy with that journalist because the journalist blindsided him, and Steve never liked to be blindsided. But he had to admit it. Yep, you're right. Then they asked him, is there anything that Apple's doing about this? Well, we do have plans. Like they were going to change things. No. Once you're in, you never leave. Oh, gee, I thought I removed that. I haven't seen that for almost a week. Oh, damn software program. I thought I had it erased. I did a full cleaning on the thing. Must be deep rooted in there. Damn it. Haven't seen it for a week. All of a sudden today, there it is. I don't want your anti-phishing software. Well, I think I'm done bitching for the night. Time to make dinner. So I will chat with you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your evening. See ya. Where's my clicker? See ya. Now I don't want to. Oh, jeez. Come on. I've clicked it 3 times. It don't want to end the stream. I think that goddamn software's got things screwed up again. Let's try it again. See ya.